product design. I started off as a graphic designer before transitioning fully into product design. So I'm happy to be here today with Noun, Nacos, right? That's computer students from Noun University
Yes.
or from Noun itself. So today I'll be taking you guys on a topic which I call product design principles, and the industry within the design. So, if you permit me, I'm going to share my screen now
Okay.
so that I can just give me a sec. Okay, I'll be sharing my screen shortly. Just give me a sec, please. Right. So, please let me know if you can see my screen.
Yeah, we can see it now.
Okay. Okay. All right. So, like I said, we're talking on product design principles, and the design industry itself. So first off, I want to start with product design. Um, I know a few of you are familiar with this term, while some people know this term to be UX UI, that's UX design itself. So they're basically the same thing with slight differences, right? So anyway, product design involves imagining, creating, iterating products that solve user problem within a specific given market, but at the same time also accounting for the business needs. So as a product designer, your goal or your task is to design products to interact with teams of people, right? To collaborate with people, to understand the market, to understand users, and also to meet business needs. So that's what product designer does. Um, so um, so a product designer is someone who oversees all the design process from start to finish. Then while product design is that process that is overseen by product designer itself. So a product designer oversees the process, while the product design is the process itself. So before you design the product, there are processes that are involved. Um, Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we are with you.
Okay. All right. So yeah, before you design the product, there are certain processes involved. From ideation, to design itself. So a lot of people call that design thinking. Although design thinking is just one of those processes involved within design itself, right? So every designer has a unique process to how they build products, to how they design products. Some people start from, the ideas themselves, like myself. I start off with ideation, then I try to read documentations within the design. Okay, I'm trying to understand what this design is all about. I try to break down some of the challenges that I notice within the brief itself, right? So as soon as I can identify these challenges, right, I try to then extract the challenges to see how I can, solve the problems, certain problems within the brief itself, in terms of ensuring that the product is good enough to scale through the market. It's also good enough for users to not have any issues, and also accessible enough. So we're going to talk more about accessibility and usability as we move into the session today. So there's something known as UI design, and there's also something known as UX design. UX design is user experience design. So this is mostly creating products or experiences for users, and in this case, people, human beings, right? So when you build products that are usable by people with little to no error or little to no usability issues, you can call that good user experience. So the process involved in creating these experiences is called user design experience, or user experience design rather. That's UED. A lot of people know it as UX, user experience. User experience is different from user experience design, and that is also the same way user research is also different from user experience. So I'm going to break this down. We have UED, user experience design, which is the process involved in creating user experiences. Then user experience is what a user experiences, or what a user feels, how they interact with the product that you've created into the market, right? Then user research is an insight or analysis that is taken to understand the market, the people you're trying to build products for, right? So when you do user research, for example, you're trying to build product for people within, let me say Lagos State, for example, right? You want to understand the kind of people within Lagos, right? So you do a user research. User research is part of market research. Market research is split into user research, competitive analysis, business research, and feasibility studies. So all of these are processes involved within user research, or should I say market research, before you build a product. While user experience is when you now take the data you've gotten from some of these research, exercises you performed, right? That data, you accumulate that data and you break it down into certain flows or certain insights that can help you build or design a product to the needs of those users. So that's when they say, okay, you've met the user need, right? So when you meet a user need, your product becomes usable. Now, I mentioned accessibility, right? Accessibility is a very important part of design that a lot of people do not consider, right? Accessibility involves ensuring that every single person, regardless of their abilities, regardless of whatever issue they have, can use your product without compromising the experience they get, right? So how do I put it? So let's say, for example, someone who is blind, or someone who has auditory issues, probably they cannot hear well or speak well. They should not use the same product that I would use or anyone else would use, someone without these disabilities, right? They shouldn't use these products and get a bad experience, because if when they get bad experience, it means that product is not usable to them, right? And this is because accessibility has not been factored in. So when you consider accessibility, there's something we call inclusion. When you consider accessibility, there is a design inclusion within your product, because that way you've factored in every single person, regardless of their abilities, right? Regardless of whether they can walk or talk or speak or see, you factor the product in such a way that everybody can use the product fairly. So let me put it that way. Accessibility is good because it improves, it improves user needs. It also helps the business, because there's a large market of people who are disabled, right? There's over 1 billion people with one form of disability or the other. So when you consider disability within your design, when you consider design for people who are disabled, which is accessibility itself, you're already serving a large market because there are people out there who will be able to use that product because you consider these things. So that's basically that on product design, user research, accessibility, usability, and user experience design. So if you want to know more about it, I'm going to provide a book, a document at the end of the session today so that you can read more into it. But that's just a breakdown to the introduction of what product design is and some of the areas within product design that you should understand. So if you go to the next slide, I'm going to talk about design as an industry. So this is all you need to know about the design industry. Right? Design industry is where creativity and technology meet and where innovation thrives. So design is everywhere. It's all around you. These glasses were designed. The wristwatch I'm wearing is designed. The clothes I'm wearing, they were all designed. The headphone, even myself as a person, I was designed, right? So everything you see around you, everything you see, by the roadside, the clouds, everything is designed. And whatever experience you're getting from this lecture right now, it's designed. So your perception of me, my perception of the audience, um, the lights around you. Like, let's say, for example, if the room was dark and you couldn't see my face, right? That would be bad experience because you can't see who's talking, right? So this is a design itself. So this is what we call experience design. So we've all heard of all of product design, user experience design, user interface design, graphic design, illustrations, and all of that, brand identity design, right? Even identity design itself. But a lot of people do not consider what a very, very unique part of design we call experience design. Experience design is the design that is invisible. You cannot see it, but it is there. Experience design is what you feel or what you get when you visit the cinema, when you're watching football. So the kind of sound effects, when you're watching movies, right? Those things are carefully designed by sound engineers, by audio engineers, various kinds of designers who've come together to create a certain form of experience for you. Whenever you're getting some form of entertainment or you're learning anything at all, right? So that's what experience design is. So also the slide you're seeing here, the PowerPoint or whatever you call this, right? It could be a slide, a PowerPoint, whatever you want to call it. It's designed also to look this way, right? So that's to show that design is all around you. It's everywhere. Your classrooms are designed. Your university is designed. They have people we call architects, right? So they design these buildings. So design is one of the largest, industry in the world. It's very large. It's very vast. There's so many careers within design. The chair I'm sitting on is designed. Wherever you are right now, the phone you're holding, the laptop, whatever it is that you have with you, they are all designed to work in a certain type of way. And what you get from using these things that have been designed by people is what we call experience, user experience. The reason it's called user experience because you are the user, you are using these products, you're watching this movie, right? You are the user, you're the audience. Whatever you feel using that product is called a user experience. So now, what do we call good user experience and bad user experience? So good user experience is when you feel good using the product without really noticing any issues at all. It's called good user experience. But when you feel bad, let's say for example, I'm trying to present to you today, right? And my audio is messed up. You can't hear me clearly, or probably there's no light. You can tell people that I was at Elvis's session today, and I don't think he presented clearly, right? Because we didn't even hear what he was saying. We couldn't even see his face, right? So that is bad user experience or bad viewing experience. So experience varies based on what kind of class you call it, right? We have viewership, viewing experience, which involves movies and other things, right? Then we have we have viewing experience, we have customer experience, we have user experience. So there are various kinds of experiences involved, when you're using the product. So that's that for design as an industry. So various roles in design vary from product design, to interior design, to fashion design, to communication design. Communication design, you can see it in news whenever you know, whenever you're listening to something, right? So whoever is communicating either via adverts, via newspapers, any form of design that has to do with communication, even flyers, that they can be classified as people who do those designs are classified as communication designers. Then we have interaction designers. So interaction designers are people who create interactions within a product. It could be a video game, it could be a product like a mobile app or a website. So whatever interaction you have within various products are designed by people we call interaction designers. So that's that for that. Let me see. Then we have event and entertainment designers. So we have people we call event planners. So these people who create this kind of designs are called, you know, event designers, right? Then we have graphic designers. We have landscape designers. So landscape designers, whenever you're playing a video game, you could see, you know, how do I put it? You could see various kinds of landscape environments. So people sometimes we call it environment. So it could be video games, it could be movies, it could be even some CGI experiences that are actually not video games or movies, but some of virtual experiences that you can get. One of the examples is what we have on the Meta Quest. I don't know if anyone is familiar with it here, the Oculus by Facebook, virtual reality headset. So some of these landscapes that you have within these products or experiences are created by landscape designers. Then we have game designers, and then we have experience designers. So yeah, that's that for this. I don't know what's going on. I think my light went off. But yeah, that's that for this. Yeah. So going to the next thing, career paths in product design. So we have various career paths in product design. We have product design itself. Sorry, career paths in design, right? This is career paths in design, not career paths in product design. So we have product design itself, digital and industrial. We have user experience design, which is what I talked about. We have UX copywriting, so user experience writing. There are people who write copy for products. So as you can see, this text here, these are all copy that communicates some certain things to you. So if I were to write this kind of copy for a product like a mobile app, let's say for example for First Bank, I would be classified as a user experience writer. So yeah, that's what this is. Then we have UX research. These are people who do research before a product is being built. Research can be in two ways. There's pre-design research or pre-product research, which is the research that is done before a product is designed or built. Then there's post-launch research. That's a research that is done after the product has been released. So one of these research is what some of us are very familiar with. Is called beta testing. There are two types of testing, alpha and beta, right? So beta testing involves sometimes, most times, the A/B testing, where you test two variants of a product, of one product within two different audiences to get different experiences and feedback in order to identify which of the two variants would perform best within the market. So A/B testing is when, just like the name implies, A and B. So it's just testing the various types of products. So class A and class B with two classes of audience to identify which product works best or which variant works best. So beta testing is a form of research that is done after a product has been designed and launched. Then we have visual design. Visual design, it's a bit complicated because product designers could also have visual design skills. So visual design is any design that has to do with visuals, things you can see, right? So as long as you can see, this is visual design. So the difference between these being visual or experience is what you now experience, like how you get to experience the product when you interact with it, right? So it's a bit complicated. Most of this is a bit jumbled up because of a lot of them are basically nomenclature and People just giving different titles to similar design fields, right? But yeah, of course, you can have a career path in visual design. You can become a visual designer. Then we have interaction design. I don't know if some of you have heard of. There's something we call prototyping in Figma when you prototype, right? So the feeling you get when you use a product that has been prototyped in Figma is what we call interactions. So interactions are those wires that connect frames together to make them move in such a way that you get to experience them in motion, right? So that's what interaction design is. Interaction design can enhance the UX of the product, the user experience of the product, because it's a bit wide. So probably I'll go into that later when I share the document with you. With you guys, you get to understand what I'm saying. So after interaction design, we have logo design, we have brand identity design, we have sound design, we have motion design, we have 3D design. Now, 3D designers, there's a software called Blender. A lot of people, most people use Blender as 3D designers. So you can use Blender for either 3D or 2D. So you can, within 3D design, you can be either a modeling designer or environmental designer. So like I said earlier, environmental designers are people who design landscapes, buildings, structures within video games, movies, or experiences, virtual experiences. It could also be augmented experiences. But yeah, these are 3D designers. Then we have virtual and augmented reality design. Virtual and augmented reality is a branch of extended realities. So there's something known as XR. Extended reality has to do with virtual reality, mixed reality, and augmented reality. So virtual reality is the introduction of the physical person or the physical body into a virtual space, right? So where you as a person get immersed into a virtual environment. While augmented reality is the introduction of virtual objects into the physical space. One example of augmented reality is the common one we all know, Snapchat. So there's this stuff where you can project your avatar within yourself, within your building. It's called projecting. So that's augmented because you're augmenting a reality. It's not real, but you're augmenting it, right? So augmented reality is the introduction of virtual objects into the real world. Now, the mixed reality is it's called mixed for a reason, because in as much as you can augment these elements, you can also feel and sometimes touch. Now, when you touch them, you get feedbacks, like haptic feedbacks. So that's what mixed reality is. You're not only introducing these elements or these virtual elements into the real world, but you can also interact with them within a real space. So one good example of mixed reality, let me use a movie for example. If any of you have seen Ready Player One, or if you've seen or what movie would I say? Any of these Star Wars, Star Trek movies where you see holograms, being projected. So the holograms are so real that you can almost touch them, or maybe the popular movie Iron Man. So these are all examples of mixed reality, but those are a bit advanced. Holograms are very advanced forms of reality projections. So we have story design, we have web design, and we have mobile design. All of these are found within product design itself. So for next slide, getting into product design, what do you need to do if you want to get into product design? You need to research the design field you want to go into. You need to get a mentor. Then you need to join a learning community. So this is not to say that you must follow this in order. You can do it however you want. But I advise the first thing you need to follow is the research. You need to do research into various design fields and know which one would be best for you. So I advise you try to actually do some research before going into any design field. Then you get a mentor. So there's a platform called ADP List. I'm going to type it in the chat. So ADP List allows you to find mentors from around the world. So when you go on ADP List, you can find mentors Um, yeah, so I dropped the message in the chat there. So that allows you to find mentors. Then we have you can join the learning community. There's so many communities on LinkedIn, Figma, Twitter that you can join if you want to learn design. Then you enroll into a boot camp. So boot camps are mostly for people who want to learn, right? People who are just starting design for the first time. So it's just like the name implies, boot camp. So it's help to kickstart you into design, teaching you the basics of design, so many things you need to know about design, right? Then you can also register for a design course. There's Udemy, Coursera, there are various design courses. There's the Google UX design course, like Coursera is very popular. You can do more research on that. And you also want to build a portfolio. So all of these are steps you can take while you're trying to get into product design. So now the basics of design. So these are basically design principles. There are 12 principles guiding design. Um, these design principles should be followed. It's not compulsory, but as a beginner, as someone who's starting for the first time, I advise you follow these principles first. Get to learn the basics, then you can decide to break them. So don't break these principles if you do not understand them fully, right? So I advise only break these principles when you are fully understood them. So yeah, that's that for design principles. Now we have contrast. A few of you, I advise you read more on this. I'm going to share a website that you can do more research and read on this. We have contrast, we have balance. Your design must have contrast. You must be able to show balance within your design. You must be able to lay emphasis. You must be able to proportionate your designs, which proportion is very important. So there are some things that are big and some things are small. Like let's say you're trying to illustrate a child and a mother, right? The mother is usually taller or bigger than the child. Let's say a child is 5 years old. So for you to be able to create that form of hierarchy between both parents, you must be able to pay respect to the proportions of, sorry, not both parents, like between the parent and the child. You must be able to pay respect to the proportion between how proportionate they are to each other in terms of size, in terms of color, whatever it is, right? So proportion is very important in design if you want to be able to show some form of distinction. Then there's hierarchy, there's repetition, there's rhythm, there's pattern, there's white space. White space is a very important thing within design. There's movement, there's variety, and there's unity. So various opportunity in design. So for this, there's so many, sorry, various opportunities in tech rather. There are so many opportunities within tech aside design. This document has not been updated yet, but I'm going to update it and send it across to you guys. So for various opportunities in tech, you have software engineering. So you can go into software engineering, front-end development, back-end development, cloud security, cloud operatives rather, cybersecurity, and various other fields within software engineering. For those of you who do not want to design, you can also look into software engineering. Then there's design. I've already shown you some of the opportunities within design and some of the industries within design. Then there's writing. You could be a technical writer. You could be, various other things, right? There's recruiting. You could be a recruiter. There's product management. So there's so many opportunities within tech that you can look into. I'm going to update this slide with it so that you can take a look at it. But yeah, so that's basically everything I have today, and that brings us to the end of the presentation.
Thank you very much. We sincerely appreciate for that enlightenment. It's very, very quite wonderful to learn that the Bible is at your feet. Yes, to say that. So it's just another privilege. So I don't know if anybody have a question, please let's ask. Does anybody have a question? You can unmute your device and please let me check the live streaming channel. Okay. In case you don't have a question, let me know. You can type it out in case you have a question. So talking about UI, talking about product design and UI and you said according to you said UI UX is still under product design. But you think as a if me I'm starting as a product designer, I would believe that okay, all necessarily is that is it different from UI UX, or does it really mean that if I'm going to product design now, I need to know UI UX?
Okay, so UI UX is they are not the same thing. So how do I put it? User interface, user experience, they are not the same, right? So user interface and user experience are also different from user experience design and user interface design. User experience is the experience a user gets when they use your product, or the feeling they get, whatever it is they feel or how they react to that product is what we call user experience. Now, user interface is the interface on which the product, that on which the user would interact. That's the interface the user interacts with. So I think the best way to explain this is to use. I'm going to use my phone, for example, right?
Okay.
So just give me a sec. So yeah, I'm projecting my phone to the screen now. So this is an example of user interface. So everything you're seeing here is the interface. Even this thing I'm driving around.
Is an interface.
Right now, well, as soon as I begin to interact with it, the experience I now get when I interact with this is what you call user experience. But the interface I interact with is called the user interface. It's an interface. It's just like the human being, for example. So I'm also going to use human beings, for example. Sometimes you see someone, they look very handsome or beautiful, right?
Yes.
But you won't know if they're smart or not until they speak, right? So that is their interface. Then the way they treat you, are they kind? Are they smart? Are they intelligent? That is the experience. So that is why sometimes people look nice but aren't nice. So that is the best way to explain it. So the fact that the product looks nice does not exactly make the experience nice. You can only tell that the product has good user experience when you've used it. There's no way you can tell if something has user experience if you haven't used it. Because it's called a user experience. You need to be a user to have an experience of that product.
Wow, that's good.
I don't know if that explains it.
Yes, exactly. I get that point, sir. So, if do you advise any community? Do you think you can learn product design just like watching a video without getting a physical mentor or somebody to say, okay, you do this, you do that when it comes to product design?
Well, I think it's possible to learn product design by yourself. A lot of people I know are self-taught. So yeah, you can learn product design by yourself. However, at least the principles you can learn by yourself. However, it's important you also learn with the community. Because as a designer, you need to pay attention to trends. What is trending? What is the most recent design style? What do I need to learn? What are people learning? The reason you pay attention to trend is to stay relevant and to be updated. So if you are still designing, on isolation or in isolation, right? You're designing by yourself. You're not exposed to what people are doing out there. You might come out and that thing you've been designing is probably 4 years old, and people are no longer using that style. So human beings change over time because of low attention span. So every time we want new features, we want new styles, we are tired of, oh, we don't want products to behave this same way again. We want people to come up with new designs, new experiences for us, right? They say the same thing in movies. Some people say they're tired of some movies, that the movies no longer interest them, that they need people to do work harder to create more interesting movies, right? So it's kind of similar. If you don't know about these things happening, you will not be updated. So you need to stay updated with the industry. So in as much as you can learn alone, right? You have to stay within the community to grow. So you can learn outside of the community, but for you to grow, you need to stay with the community. You need to join either a group or have a mentor or join a boot camp, whatever it is that allows you to connect with people, other people within the field. It's important that you do that.
Thank you very much. I would sincerely appreciate. I don't know if anybody have a questions, or I believe for those that have a questions, you can drop on the chat. But I will collect collect the presentation file and we'll share it with the house. So, okay, somebody say, can I be a UI UX designer for website and mobile app at the same time, or I need to pick one?
Yeah, yeah, you can. I design websites, mobile apps, wristwatches, virtual reality. I designed a lot of platforms. Those are just platforms, right? Design is design. So all you need to know is know the principles of design, right? Then when it comes to these platforms, you need to also understand how these platforms behave. So I think that is going to be the only barrier, right? Aside learning about these platforms, I don't think you have issues. So design is design. However, if you want to design for virtual reality, you need to understand. Sometimes you need to unlearn the things you've learned for mobile or for websites in virtual reality because they're not the same thing, right? But at the end of the day, it's still going to be design, colors, frames, cards, whatever it is, right? It's still going to be about design. But just that for you to create a unique experience to that platform, you need to understand the platform itself. So you cannot design a product without understanding the audience and the platform you're designing for.
All right. Thank you very much. I sincerely appreciate for that um, experience, knowledge you've shared to us. I believe this is going to be another wonderful thing because me, I've been anticipating to learn from this, but I think, especially when you introduce the ADAPT list, I noticed the AADP list that you talk about. Is it only UI, design, UI or design session or anything regarding tech they mentor somebody for?
Yeah, mentor for every field in tech. So they have over 9,000 mentors. So you can go there, you can find various fields. I think even outside of tech, you can find people who are going to mentor in business. So all
Okay.
you have to do is just search for the person,
Like, but
search for
is it like you
the
pay some
title.
money?
No, you don't pay, it's free.
Okay.
It's free mentorship.
Okay.
Yeah, but sometimes they might not accept your request because of they probably have too many requests. So
So
yeah, that's all.
how
You
do
can
you think
find anyone to mentor them.
it's easier to find a mentor? How do you think it's easier to find a mentor? Because you might definitely want to feel like I need people, but I think within this, I notice where you can choose your country from within the Nigeria or within any region. Is it feel like it is advisable to connect with your people that are in Nigeria? Maybe you be able to have your own time or you need to have a connection with
Well,
them.
yeah, people in Nigeria will have more time for you actually, right? So if you want to get a mentor, I advise you first look within Africa before you start looking outside of Africa.
All right, sir. Thank you so much. I really appreciate for your time and we really sincerely appreciate on behalf of the Nigerian Association of Computing Students of the National University of Nigeria. Thank you very much. We hope to have more of you, sir. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome, sir.
Really appreciate it.
You're welcome, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So also I shared a document to the chat. So for those who are looking to get into design, there are some resources there. You can check them out.
All right, sir. All right, so we'll definitely work. Okay, is this the slide?
Oh no, this is not the slide. I'm going to share the slide later with you.
Okay, all right. Thank you. I would really appreciate that. Thank you very much, sir. Really appreciate. So everyone, I believe, will be.
But you know what?
Okay.
I think I can share the slide now.
Okay.
Let me see.
Okay. Please.
Give me a second. Okay.